Hi, welcome. My name is Angelina, and today we're going to play a game of Save One, Drop One for Girls Planet's 999 Connect mission, which basically features groups performing the same songs, so we get to do a bit of comparisons. For the past 2 weeks, we got to see different groups performing Yes or Yes by Twice, How You Like That by Blackpink, Fiesta by IZ*ONE, Fifth Season by Oh My Girl, and more. So we'll take a look at each group's rendition and decide which performances we would save and which ones we would drop. So if you're interested in this video, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. And if you're mad at this type of video, just know that the judges made mean faces. And you can't even see mine. Stand voice cracks. But for real, everyone did an amazing job, and I don't trust MNET as far as I can throw. And I find it just like ever so curious that suddenly the vast majority of contestants sound amazing, when in the first round of performances, you know, we heard movements, we heard mistakes, and people were clowning contestants for not being the best vocally maybe. But now suddenly they're throwing themselves around in a performance, and a lot of them sound incredibly stable, incredibly good, which is a huge contrast from what we saw in round one. And on top of that, some of the mistakes do seem a little bit calculated, in my opinion. MNET, please don't sue. So honestly, just take this with a grain of salt, because that's exactly what I'm doing. You know, I am taking vocals into consideration. I am taking everything into consideration, but at the end of the day, this is just a show here to get views. Starting off with the How You Like That performances, we have Plan Girls or Team 1. Now, I feel like quite obviously we could see just by the judges' expressions, their reactions, that they weren't the most impressed with this performance. We saw a lot of disgusted faces and even some mistakes and so on. For example, they didn't seem impressed when Chai Bing didn't get out of the way fast enough, but honestly, I thought she played it off pretty well. So needless to say, I think it's safe to say the judges were not the most impressed. But frankly, I honestly didn't think it was that bad. Controversial, I know, but I have some good things to say about this stage. For one, I did think their energy was incredibly cohesive. Do I think it was comparable to Team 2? Not quite, but I just mean that every member was more or less on the same page, on the same level. I didn't really think one member stood out more than another, though Xiaoyan was my favorite. The way she added a lot of her own flavor to Lisa's part, I definitely appreciated that. But that's not at all to downplay the energy that Hidden Card or Team 2 brought forth. I'm just saying that Team 1's energy was definitely quite cohesive. So as a group, they definitely blended in together very well. However, I'm sure we could agree that in contrast, Team 2 brought forth like that extra bit of energy. I would also add that in Team 2 there were like a few members that didn't quite live up to the stage presence that the other members had set forth. So there was a little bit of imbalance. You know, you'd have the majority of the members just giving it their all, bringing forth such incredible energy, but then you would cut to, you know, a contestant or two who maybe was a little bit nervous or just wasn't quite fitting the concept as well. Don't get me wrong, there's no question that Team 2 was amazing to watch regardless. It's just a question of having like a fully cohesive team with lower energy versus having a team with overflowing stage presence that might not be reflected in every single member. You know, it definitely depends what the judges are looking for. I mean, obviously not all of these girls are going to be part of one team at the end, right? With all that said, I would still drop Team 1 and save Team 2. Just rewatching Team 2's performance, like, they're really going above and beyond. So even though maybe one or two members weren't quite feeling it, in my opinion, it kind of overrides that sense of cohesion, because at the end of the day, it is a competition. If they were an actual group, it would be a different story. But let me know what you would do. Moving on to the covers of Twice's Yes or Yes, starting with Keep Missing You or Team 1. Again, overall, I think everyone's energy matched almost perfectly. No one really stood out in a bad way or created an imbalance. Everyone kind of matched together quite well. Again, the energy was very cohesive. And I'll also add it was very great energy. You know, we had no blank expressions in sight. The facial expressions were very lively, and I think they did a really good job. And if we compared that to Energy Bar or Team 2, I do think it was maybe a little bit of a close call. There are some details that led me to choose one over the other, and I do have a favorite stage, of course, but it's not really by a landslide. For example, if you watch Team 2 on their own with nothing to compare them to, I do also think they did amazing. No blank expressions for the most part, everyone was quite lively, but it's when we go back to Team 1 where we really see how all those elements are great, but still have the possibility to go that extra mile. Not only were the contestants in Team 1 smiling, but you could feel that happiness from them, which is what made the difference in my opinion. Personally, Personally, I felt like Team 1 had more consistent energy, facial expressions, like the whole shebang. So I would save Team 1 and drop Team 2, but I do think they both did a really great job. It's just, again, within Team 2, though we had very strong contestants, there were just a few contestants who maybe, again, were a little bit nervous or maybe just didn't fit the concept very well. Moving on to Fiesta by IZ*ONE, we have Team 1. I think collectively we could agree this was the best performance out of the two, not only vocally, but again, facial expressions, energy, stage presence, and so on. Even if we took the vocals out of it, because again, I'm quite skeptical of MNET vocals. You know, you literally see people jumping and swinging themselves around and they're perfectly stable. You know, I've seen some people point out that the judges hear things differently. Like they hear things directly through their earpieces, whereas we're hearing, you know, edited vocals and so on. But like, I want to hear what those judges are hearing. Irregardless, I would still pick this team. I think they were very much a joy to watch. It's not that I didn't appreciate Team 2, but I think the judges would also agree that vocally they weren't as strong and they didn't give like this extra kick that was needed for the stage presence, again, facial expressions and so on, all of that jazz. So I would save Team 1 and drop Team 2. Now, the last two performances that we can properly compare to each other are two renditions of Oh My Girl's 5th season, since the rest of the performances are different songs. Here's the thing, Team 1 was for sure stronger vocally, no questions about it. They were more stable, had less disgusted faces from the judges, and they were great as a team, super cohesive, everyone matched each other's levels. But then on the other hand, I thought Team 2 had a bit better energy but wasn't as cohesive. I would actually compare it to Team 2 for how you like that. Not each member was bringing forth the same amount of energy. Like we did see some blank expressions, but the ones that did stand out to an extent made up for it. So each team had really important elements that if we were put together would make one amazing performance. So it felt a little bit difficult for me to choose. But at the end of the day, maybe I would change my mind. Again, it was hard to choose. I think I would take Team 2 and drop Team 1. But let me know which team you would have chosen to save. So now we do have 3 more performances to talk about. There's Mic Drop by BTS, Adore You by 17, and The Eve by EXO. The thing is, I think they all did a really great job. It's hard to talk about these performances without being able to compare them to something of, you know, more or less equal value, if that makes sense. How am I supposed to compare Mic Drop to Adore You when I just compared Yes or Yes to Yes or Yes? It doesn't make the most sense to me. So I didn't think it was so fair to compare apples to oranges, if that makes sense. You know, they all have their charms, obviously. I just don't think critiquing them really fits within the scope of this video, but we can talk a little bit about them. I have to say, An Jung-min really stood out to me in Mic Drop. Her voice was absolutely stunning. As for Adore You, Maya really stood out to me as well. I think for the most part, everyone really fit the concept very well. That is basically it for my thoughts on the Connect mission of Girls Planet 999, episode 3, round 2, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But let me know in the comments down below which performances you would save and which ones you would drop. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. You can join my channel members or my Patreon to support this channel in a different way. These are the lovely individuals who help support my channel. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. As for me, I'm gonna get going, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye!